here's the problem. Trump can't just announce he's going to go dictator. He has to just do it. Because if he announces it, then our legal system and the judiciary branch and our legislative branch and all that stuff would just cockblock him no end.
Okay.
He literally has to coup himself into it. He has to
If you were Trump and you were like, I'm going to go full dictator.
Yeah.
What would that actually look like?
A dictator requires military backing just to be able to you can't just wave a fat stick in the air and say, I'm going to do this. You actually have to have people that say, yeah, the stick's real.
So you'd have to start taking control of the narrative and the media mechanism. You would have to start removing people that are anti to your message and your plan. So you'd have to start removing government officials.
But you have to start with the military. If you think about all the coups that the CIA has helped with in all of these hundreds of countries over the last decade, it all started with funding the opposing side militarily with munitions, weapons, things that can back it up. So that's what Trump has to do first, is he has to first get the blessing and get all of the commanders and all of the lieutenant colonels and all the leaders of the military to say, look, I'm going to steamroll this bitch, right? I'm going to steamroll this bitch, and you guys have to come with, because I can't be wagging a big stick around the air. I need actual munitions and firepower behind me to say, look, we're doing this. So that's what he needs. He needs to have the military behind him first, and then he can steamroll.
Well, okay. So we get to 2028, and it is now presidential election season. And on the ballot, people look and be like, Trump's running again?
Yeah. Actually, there isn't a ballot this time. If he wants to go gangsta, he has to. There is no ballot this time. That's what the Ukraine president did. He just said no ballots this time. I'm just staying.
There are a lot of people that would be extremely upset.
Oh yeah,
just because it's Trump. Even if it was the best idea ever, and it was extremely well thought out, which I doubt it's going to be. But even if it was extremely well thought out,
I like this thought experiment though.
And he had this immense plan that was like, dude, this is going to work. And you got a lot of people that are supportive of him to be like, all right, I don't really like this dictator thing. I don't like this third term thing, but you know what? I could totally, fuck it, let's go.
You're never going to get that pushback though.
But there's still going to be those people that are going to be like, I don't care. No matter what Trump does, I hate it.
But we're never going to hear from them because Trump will own the state-run media, just like Bukele does, and dissent is nothing. You never hear dissent anymore. No, I'm like, let's go full bore. If he starts with the military, then he says, military, we're going to war game this, and the war game is going to look like this. On this day, you guys are going to take over CNN. You guys are going to infiltrate CNBC, MSNBC. You guys are going to go to the radio stations. You're going to take that over. We're going to go to the CDC. You guys are going to take that over. We're going to go to. I mean, it has to be a coordinated plan. So when the world finally hears about it, the only thing you're going to hear is Trump, the benevolent dictator, has taken over the reins, and the entire American population has given their overwhelming support of this new initiative and new phase of the American dream. And
every cover of every magazine, every news,
exactly.
It will be, no one works harder than Trump.
Exactly. And
do you see him? He's leaving at 4 a.m.
Exactly.
And he's still working.
Exactly. And
not that we've never heard that
and
before.
if there are dissenting voices, you'll never hear about them. Why? Because
do you lock them up? Do you gather them up? Do you send them to an El Salvador prison? Do you put them in Guantanamo Bay? Do you just silence them? Do you remove them from the content creator economy? Like, how do you get rid of them?
No, you say we have a place for you to.
Are we putting them in concentration camps?
No.
You know, like where do these people go? Where do these dissenters go?
It's easy. There's
millions of them.
Yeah, they go to Reddit. You laugh because you know it's true. You want to have a dissenting voice? Go to Reddit.
You lock them into a digital echo chamber.
They're already 99% anti-Trump anyway. Like, you're amongst your people. Like, be free.
Just a quick break before this video continues. If you haven't signed up for Soju yet, go check it out, soj.oo. It's a social discussion platform that we've created. That's where the community is hanging out. Definitely worth checking out, soj.oo. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, Do it now.
Right? That's what Trump should say. Be free. Just was that Bane? Be free.
Is that how he says it?
Yeah, doesn't he say that on the steps of the town hall? He goes, "To you, my people, be free."
It sounds Korean as fuck.
That was a Korean accent.
No, I'm channeling the Bane, right? The Bane is be free, my people. Right? You are unshackled by these Gothamites. You know, that's what he said.
Because all of these people that are out there currently advocating for a Trump third term, which is actually a growing crowd of people, by the way. Like we're 2 months in and people are already advocating for a third term.
It's probably bigger than we think.
And which is interesting because we actually haven't seen the fruits of his efforts yet. We haven't seen the improvements that he's promised yet, but already people are crowning him as a third term president, which is interesting that narrative is out there.
Man.
Almost artificial, by the way. But I mean, that's crazy.
So let me ask you this. Now, everything you qualified the whole idea with a lot of no-nos, like no right to assembly, no free speech, da 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 da. Most everyone's gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna allow that. But if you don't bring that up,
don't bring up the important things. Okay, hold on. If it were to happen, those are the obvious things that we should be looking out for.
No. When a dictator takes over, the last thing you care about is your free speech. You care more about your sovereign rights as an individual to
Have free speech?
No, free speech is no. You want the ability to move freely. You care more about the body than the voice. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that you can get bread. You want to make sure that you can go to your job unfettered, right? Because there are some places, like for example, like Palestine, you cannot go to anywhere unless you go through 5 police stops, get frisked and anal raped, and then you can go to your job, right? So there are prison camps that are in existence. There are literal open concentration camps in these terrible places around the world that citizens actually have to live like this. That is what you'd be concerned about. Do you think the people in Palestine care about their free speech? They care more about surviving the day because they're under a dictatorship, right? They're under a war-torn, right, situation.
Okay. Fast forward to 2028 again. Here we are. 2028.
All right.
Okay. Trump says, I'm running for a third term. And let's give him the benefit of the doubt that his second term was actually very successful.
Yeah, he did. He did some things.
He did some things. The economy is good. The AI overlords are taking over, and we've going to this deflationary event where people can have more time. Because that's what Elon Musk is saying, right?
Can gas go to 89 cents? That would be nice.
That AI will be deflationary and that things will be cheaper. You can work less because AI will take a lot of those roles. Actually, you can get back into focusing on things like art and creativity and enjoying and more just content consumption. Like you have more time for yourself.
Did you end up buying those eggs for church?
I don't know. I think we're waiting for Easter. Maybe we'll buy the Korean eggs. And
because we want eggs to go down under Trump.
Of course.
Yeah, the price has to go down.
And the interest rates go down and the pricing houses also go down at the same time, which is interesting how that would possibly work. But the economy is good and everyone's got money and life is better. 2028, he's done the things he said he would do. Greenland is a part of the United States now. Canada is part of the United States now. BlackRock, although they own the Panama Canal, like they're still BlackRock is the good guy now, not the bad guy.
Yeah. They're letting us through. It's good.
Like the central banking digital currencies, we're all worried about that, but the stable coins end up being good for people because we can trade faster.
Right.
All the things that we kind of worry about, they end up being good.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to do a third term. Where do you sit?
I read the...
Life is better. It's more safe.
Let me qualify this.
Yes.
Give me a second. I read the comments.
Yes.
There's a lot of people in the community around Matt Kim podcast that think like I'm your antithesis. Like I am a bad guy. Like I am so maybe black-pilled that I'm like I've accepted like the terrible realities of our future. So some people comment and they're like, man, fuck that guy Peter. You know, he's always he's talking negative, or man, he wants to get taken over. If things are going as peachy as you say,
the economy improves.
yeah,
And again, it means that once you give a president a third term, it opens up the argument for a fourth term. It opens up the idea that you can pass down into maybe some sort of monarchical system. It opens up the floodgates to any possibility.
And so my short answer is, with all that qualification, saying everyone's saying I'm black pilled and I'm over the hump and I've given up. Shut up. First off, but number two, yes. If everything is going well as you say, and he's done this good job, I am open to extensibility of his reign. Why? Let me qualify two things. Number one, the American experiment is we're the newest country on the planet. Think about this. Like one of the newest countries on the planet. Now, there have been some countries that have been broken up and resubstantiated, like Russia, USSR, understood. But the American experiment, 1776, right? The American experiment is, we are short duration in the span. Like, if we compare ourselves to China, like we're not even a teenager yet. Right? We're still a green bean. We're still a 3-year-old child when it comes to nation building in this experiment of America versus China, right? So I say, within the early cycle time of this experiment, this American experiment, why not, sir? Why not? People are going to comment, Peter's given up. He's part of the Borg. Matt, kick him off. He's terrible. He's part of BlackRock. No, I'm speaking from a pragmatic reality. If things are as good as you say, Matt, why not? Why not? Let's keep the party going. Right? Ain't no harm, no foul. Let's keep the party going.
How long does that last, though?
Until the wheels fall off is how the song goes, right? Let's keep the party going, man. No, remember, you did not also add in those qualifications that we lost free speech, we have chips in our brains, right, and all that. Right, we are controlled by the digital monetary system now. Fair enough, you did add that, so I will concede that. Right, we are controlled by the our phones. Right, I get that, but that was a small cross to bear, in terms of everything else that you've said.
Anytime we shift into any country shifts into this kind of dictatorship model, even if it's a benevolent dictatorship, you lose your free speech, you gain, you lose your personal rights, you are more surveilled. Like that's table stakes of moving into this system.
But that's gonna happen anyway, Matt.
That's true.
I mean, are you and I so great a man that you and I could stop the coming behemoth that is tech surveillance? Are you and I big enough men to stop that?
Yes. I think that although
Matt's putting his body on the line here.
Thanks for watching the clip. If you want to see the full episode, click here. If you want to see more clips, click here.